This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening. Tonight is June 15th, 2002. My name is Suzanne Cahill. We're here for the City of Kingston Planning Board monthly meeting. Before we begin, I'm just going to read a few guidelines to help us begin the meeting respectfully. We ask that all members of the public and the press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As the organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Board members and city staff will control their own mute button. As good practice, we ask that you mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a board member or staff wishes to speak, please raise your hands. The chairperson will call on you before you speak by stating your name clearly for our audio listener. The board member will then unmute themselves, state their name, and speak clearly after finish. All of the meetings are being recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city's website at a later date. There were no comments that have been received in lieu of public speaking. If you have any audio issues, you can send a text message to the following number, 845-443-0416. I will repeat the number again, but be aware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number to text is 845-443-0416. If you are here as a member of the public and wish to speak at any of the public hearings, you can open up and you will be called on and invited to speak audio at the time the hearing is called. As the organizer, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting, to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately, or to enter into an attorney-client conference if it's needed. Materials for the meeting may be found on the City of Kingston website, www.kingston-ny.gov. Once you're on the home page, you scroll to the bottom under meetings, and where you see the planning board meeting posted, click on the agenda packet. We thank you for your patience, and on behalf of the planning board, I wish you and your family good health. I will now turn the floor over to Chairman Wayne Platt to begin the meeting. Wayne?
Thank you, Suzanne. Welcome, everybody, to the City of Kingston Planning Board meeting. Today is June 15th, 2020. I'll introduce members. My name is Platt. I'm the chairman. We also have Vice Chairman Charles Palaco, members Robert Jacobson, Matt Gillis, Kevin Roach, and Vince Archer. We also have, as you've seen, Suzanne Cahill. She's our planning director. Kyla D-Day is the planner. We have Assistant Corporation Counsel Dan Gartenstein, as well as the Common Council Liaison to the Planning Board, Alderman Don Tollerman. Okay, item number 1 under regular business is the adoption of the May 18th, 2020 Planning Board meeting transcript and decisions. Everybody has received a copy of those documents. Is there any question on them, or deletions or additions that we may have missed? Anybody? No? Okay. So at this time, make a motion that we adopt the 18th, 2020 Planning Board meeting transcript and decisions. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
I think Chuck got it.
Second by Charles Palaco. All in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Roll call, please, Wayne.
Roll
Wayne, this is
call. Okay. Yep, that's easier. Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco.
Is a yes.
Robert Jacobson.
Yes.
Matt Gillis.
Yes.
Kevin Roach.
Yes.
That is paid. Adopted. All right. Moving on to public hearing. Item number 2 is 79 and 81-83 West Union Street. It's a lot line deletion of the lands of Talia Bosco and Samuel Wilkinson. Section block and lot is 56.43-1-23 and 24. Seeker determination, Zone RT, Ward 8, Talia Bosco and Samuel Wilkinson are the applicants and owners. And Sue, you said we have not received any comment on the public hearing aspect of this?
No, we didn't receive any comments under the general comment. Mr. Wilkinson, can you turn your video on, please? Is there anyone else with you that is here to represent the application?
My wife's listening, but it's all me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there
Welcome,
anybody
sir.
on the call that wishes to speak about this application? No? Okay, Wayne, nothing.
Again, the applicants are requesting to combine two lots under the same ownership. One lot contains a single-family residence, and the other is vacant. Kyla, do we have anything? There she goes. Good. You read my mind. Everybody can see that?
Yes.
I can say it.
Sue, this is pretty straightforward, Sue.
Yes. It's removing, what we're doing is Mr. Wilkinson and his wife are removing the lot line between two parcels of land that they own. One has a residence and the other is a vacant parcel. So they're combining the two into a single building lot.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for the applicant? No? Okay. Thank you for that diagram, Kyla. All right, so under seeker, this is a type 2 action, so no further review of the board is required. At this time, I will make a motion that we approve item number 2, board policy number 6 to be signed, and the written descriptions and the paper copy and Mylar copy to be submitted for signature. That is a motion. Do I have a second on that?
Second,
Who was that? Was that
Robert.
Matt? Robert, I'm sorry. Robert Jacobson had the second on that. All in favor? Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco?
Is a yes.
Robert Jacobson?
Yes.
Matt Gillis? Matt?
Yes.
Okay. And Kevin Roach?
Yes.
Okay, item number 2 is adopted. Thank you, Mr. Wilkinson.
Thank you all for your time.
Hey, have a good evening. Okay, moving on to item number 3. This is 105-107 Henry Street, a special permit renewal for a multidisciplinary arts center with gallery space, exhibition and educational space, and administrative offices. Section block and lot is 56.108-4-27. Seeker determination, Zone R2, Ward 4. Alan Bayer is the architect and applicant. Transart is the owner. We're still under public hearing, so is there anybody, Sue, do we have anybody for item number 3?
I do not know. Are any of the callers here to speak at the public hearing for this? I don't, seeing nobody, Alan, but, or Wayne. Alan Baer is here representing the applicant.
Hi, Alan, how are you?
Hi, Wayne. Fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. So the last time we were here was in December of 2019, and we approved the special permit for a period of 6 months. So why don't you give us an update of where you are with things now with this?
We received a nod from the building department to proceed with the exterior restoration right after that meeting. We also received Landmark's approval to proceed with a scheme for the Lula lift within a silo form. This was at Landmarks in January. And then in March of this year, we received the go-ahead for everything relating to the interior, which includes everything adaptive reusing, transforming the house into a public facility. So no sooner did that happen than we were considered non-essential, in terms of Governor Cuomo's reading on what's essential, what's not. So we were non-essential. We had to stop work, and we just resumed as of the last couple of weeks. So in the meantime, my client probably wisely determined that an October opening was, questionable with the coronavirus out there. So, but we still have high hopes for her occupying the facility in the fall, depending on when the CFO would finally come through. So we're charging ahead, back up and running again.
Now, as you know, when you appeared in December, some of the members of the board were concerned that we were going to have a repeat of the last time the applicant came through with, there was some delay in getting things up and, renovated. And so it seems like, you're doing all the right things. I talked to Sue Cahill today. She's confirmed what you're saying, that, you have an active building permit. The building department's been there doing inspections. And I understand about the New York pause thing where you've been deemed non-essential. So I know that kind of put a stickler on what you're doing. But Sue Cahill told me that you're moving forward in a way that hopefully the board would be open to renew the permit tonight.
That would be great. Yeah, no, our contractor's doing a great job. Everything he's done has come through beautifully. We're happy as can be with his work and his attentiveness.
Okay. And you are back to work now since we're in phase 2? Is that what's going on?
Absolutely. Yes. He's taking all kinds of precautions, doing everything mandated by the governor, and building department seems happy with everything. They were just there earlier today checking footings before concrete is poured tomorrow. This is for some exterior components.
If the board has any questions for the applicant, I know that we're going to be discussing a term for the special permit renewal, so we can throw that out there as well as part of any questions. Anybody have any questions for the applicant?
No.
What about, Sue, what does staff recommend for a renewal period for this? What are we looking at, you think?
Well, our recommendation was to go longer than, the 6 months. I believe that you can go, at least a year, maybe more, depending on your comfort level.
So would that bring us into June of 2021? Is that correct?
Correct.
Is everybody okay with that? Put your hand up and a thumb up, whatever, everybody. I can't see everybody, Sue, so you'll have to be my eyes.
Yes. And Wayne, this is Sue again. Just let the record show that Mary Jo Wiltshire has joined the meeting.
Mary Jo. Okay, good. Okay, so no further questions I see here. And Alan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So under seeker, this is a type 2 action, so no further review of the board is required. And so at this time, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 3 for a period of 1 year, which would bring us into June of 2021, with all original conditions carried forward. That is a motion. Do I have a second on that?
Charles has a second.
Okay, Charles Palaca with the second. All in favor? Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaca,
Yes,
Robert Jacobson,
Yes.
Mary Jo Wiltshire,
Yes.
Matt Gillis.
Yes.
All right, thank you. The motion is carried. Item number 3 is adopted. So again, Alan, thank you. Good luck with everything, pal.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of the meeting.
Take care.
You too. Stay safe.
All right, item number 4 is 693-701 Broadway, in parentheses, 13 Franklin Street. It's a special permit / site plan amendment to convert residential to commercial for purposes of expanding a radio station. Section block and lot is 56.92-3-19.100. Seeker determination, zone C2, Broadway Overlay District, Ward 4, Radio Kingston Corporation is the applicant owner. Do we have anybody on the line, Sue, for this one for comment?
Yes, Wayne. Scott Dutton is here. Scott, is there anyone
Okay.
else joining you tonight?
I was under the impression that they would be joining, so they may be calling in, but I don't see any of the names.
No. And let's see, no one's unmuting themselves. If you are a caller and you are here to discuss the item number 4, 693-701 Broadway, otherwise known as 13 Franklin Street, would you please unmute yourself? Wayne, I do not see anybody.
All right. So the permit was approved in January of this year for a period of 1 year. And the amendment application includes proposed changes to the residential structure on Franklin Street. Scott, go ahead, take it from here, pal.
I just received a text from Jimmy Buff. He says he's here, he can hear us. We can't hear him. So I'll do the best I can to muddle through this.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Yeah, you want to tell us about the proposal then, or the amendment, Scott?
Sure. 13 Franklin Street was acquired after Radio Kingston had come before the board for the radio station itself. The vision there is that it be administrative support space to support the radio station. As you can see by the photograph in the application, we obtained a clean out permit from the building department to remove the siding to see what was underneath. And we were all pleasantly surprised to see that there's a lot of detail there. The goal is to restore the exterior of the building, use the building for administrative offices, install a small lift so that the building is fully accessible, and have it support the ongoing operations of the radio station.
Okay. Parking is an issue on here at all, Sue?
You're asking me, Sue? Yes, we had Scott. You want to review the parking? I know you had shot an email off to Kyla and myself earlier today about how the parking is handled.
Certainly. Using the 1 space per 300 square foot requirement in the zoning ordinance, the building would require 5.5 parking spaces. It's my understanding that when the radio station came before you previously, that they received a waiver because they are within 400 feet of the municipal lot. It's the station's hope that a waiver would be granted tonight. In addition to the spaces available next to the Sea Deli, they have an arrangement with an adjoining property owner for half of the parking spaces. I believe it's on the corner of Broadway and Elmendorf.
Okay.
Yep, I'm dialed in. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, we
I can hear you
can.
now, Jimmy. Welcome.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what was happening. I dialed in with my cell phone with the same manner that I used the handset, but whatever, I'm here.
Welcome, Jimmy. All right. So can we get a copy of that arrangement you have with the property owner on Broadway and Elmendorf Street then?
Yeah.
That's something we're gonna need that for the file, right?
Yes.
There are, I think, 24 spots there with 2 handicap. We'll be sharing some of those with the Kingston Food Co-op.
Okay. So Sue, how many spaces are we looking for the waiver then?
I'd have to get that out.
You're doing a lot of math.
Mr. Chairman, it's 5.5 spaces. The
Right.
total gross area of the building is 1,664.6 square feet.
Okay. So the spaces on, I know we're dwelling on this, Scott, and I apologize. The spaces on the Elmendorf Street Broadway lot there, would that be utilizing 5 or actually 6 spots there? Is that?
Jimmy, you have
Yes.
more than 6 spaces available there to you, correct?
Yes.
How many,
So we will not
Jen?
require a waiver then?
How
Where
many
there are-
spaces are available to you?
There are 24 slots there with 2 handicap. We're expecting to split those spots with the Kingston Food Co-op. So 12 and 1.
So we will not looking to have a waiver parking. That's what I'm just looking to here. Is that correct?
Right, Wayne, but this is Sue, but we will need a copy of that agreement.
Yeah. So I'm just going to circle back to the parking waiver, going back to when we first appeared. That the whole plot, right, with the lot line deletion was part of that. Going back to when we first talked about parking with the Sea Deli lot, the city lot being close enough.
Yes. Yeah, that waiver was for that, right, Sue?
Yes, it was.
But we're not
Wayne,
looking to
Scott
have a
has his
waiver for
hand
this.
up.
Okay,
Well,
go
Wayne,
ahead, Scott.
we'd still like to request that the board consider a waiver, because my understanding of the policy is that the lease arrangement is tied to the use permit, and at this moment, we don't have a long-term lease arrangement on that property. So if the
Okay.
board would be willing to grant the waiver with the understanding that Radio Kingston does not intend to place a further burden on that property, they could proceed with confidence with a substantial rehab to this building.
Everybody okay with that?
I would agree with that, Wayne.
Okay. Kevin?
I'm good.
Vince?
Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll put that as part of the package at the end here. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Scott, for clarifying that. I know Scott had to put that to bed. So, also I see on here with Scott and Jimmy with the sidewalk project for Franklin Street. We're asking that the applicants be advised to contact the city engineer to ensure the project coordinated. I mean, you've probably already done that.
Yes.
Wayne, this is Sue. Yes, they have been in contact with the Department of Engineering, and we would recommend at staff level that in your decision that the design of this building and the exterior along the street be such that it respects and is not encroaching on the city right of way.
Okay. All right. Any signage, folks, for
We
that?
haven't discussed any signage specifically at this time. Jimmy may be able to add more, but we'd certainly be willing to come back to address any signage at a
Yeah,
later.
I don't think there's going to be any, there might be a small sign near the door, but there's not going to be any, there's not going to be any prominent signage.
Wayne, I
It's
would
part-
say that
you know,
can be just left at staff level.
Yeah.
Okay. And also leaving at staff level, lighting, landscape, everybody good with that, to leave that at staff level?
I agree, because it'll get tied in with the existing project.
All right.
I agree.
I'm just going through the notes here. All right, we're up to amending the term. I said the original one was issued in January of this year for a period of 1 year. I see given the timetable to have all work completed within 6 to 7 months, staff suggested extending the term beyond the original expiration date. How long you thinking? So another year from today? Is that what you're thinking?
Provide a
From this
year
month?
from today. Right. Yes, that's what we were thinking, because it would allow them to complete the project and establish occupancy for a few months.
And thumbs up from the board members who agree with? Okay. All right. Anything else that I missed, Sue? Anybody from the board that I missed? Any questions?
No.
Okay. So under seeker, it's a type 2 action. No further review of the board is required at this time. So, Sue, can you go over the conditions? I'm going to make a motion that we approve item number 4. You've taken the notes on the conditions. Can you just go over those, please? Just iterate.
I will. Okay. The conditions would be that all policies be carried forward with the extension of this special permit, that lighting, landscaping, and signage would come back for review and approval at staff level, that the board would grant a parking waiver and would request a copy of the arrangement for the parking at the corner of Broadway and York for the 12 spaces plus 1 handicap, and that the project would be designed such that it respects and is not encroaching on the city's right-of-way along Franklin Street.
All right, and then also we're going to leave the, maybe I missed it there, the lighting, all that stuff is going to be taken care of at staff level. That's where
I had that, yes. Yes, lighting,
I must have been
landscaping.
looking some other place.
That's with
That's a
respect to
motion,
Franklin Street.
Sheldon, he's asked to come once a week. He was here Friday.
All right, so do I have a second on that motion?
Out there with a mask.
Robert.
Second, Wayne,
Hey, Robert,
Planning board call.
that's all with respect to Franklin Street, the signage and landscaping and everything, correct?
Yes.
yeah, with this particular property, yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
So all in favor, Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaca,
Yes.
Robert Jacobson,
Yes.
Joe Wiltshire,
Yes.
at Gillis.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is, Thank you, Jimmy and Scott, for appearing tonight.
Thank you.
Good evening. Okay. All right, moving on to item 5. This is 65-85 East Strand. Special permit renewal to construct a building. Lot is 56.43-7-37. Seeker determination, zone RL, Heritage Area Commission, LWRP, and Ward 8. You're going to have to help me with this name. Anthony Castellano, the applicant. I hope I got that right. And Kingston Waterfront LLC is the owner. Okay. I see that
Anthony,
Anthony is here.
Hello. Anthony, do you want to introduce the others that are with you? Is Greg with you as well?
Yes, Greg Galcheski.
Okay. Is there any other individuals? I see a caller. Is there a caller on the line that's here for this project?
Hello, very good. Yes, you pronounce it. Sorry, I was having a little trouble with the internet.
Okay.
Good evening, all. My name is Anthony Hadjiwana, the applicant for this project. Thank you.
Okay, Wayne.
Welcome,
so
sir.
Anthony and Greg are here.
Okay. All right, so the application is to renew the special permit for construction of a mixed-use building. And the application was originally approved in April of 2018. There has been no construction at the site. And Anthony and Greg, why don't you tell us where you are with the project right now?
Are you talking to me, sir? It was.
Yes, Anthony.
Yes. Yeah, we met. Yes, we met with Sue a couple of months ago, pre-Corona. Corona threw us for a loop. What we've done is we've taken over the project from the previous architect, and we're basically looking at keeping the character, keeping the footprint, everything similar. We're just trying to come up with a more efficient layout because there are very, very large units with nothing stackable. And from a constructability point of view, when you got separate chases for every single bathroom, separate chases for every single kitchen, it makes for a very expensive build. So what we're doing right now is working on the interior of the building. And as we're tightening it up, we might actually come back with a smaller, reduced footprint. It basically will be the same looking building. We're just trying to shave some of the cost for the owner because he's trying to make more affordable units for the neighborhood.
If I could interject, Mary Jo and Robert put a lot of time and effort in with the old applicant and the other architect in developing this parcel. So do get they say they're keeping with the character of what Hurwitz had done. Even though it's becoming smaller, when we do that plan, they should come back to it and discuss
Yes,
this.
any amendment to the plan will need to come back before the board. Anthony, if I could ask you a question, are you looking at changing the number of units? And
yes, we've come up with 36 units for the second and third floor. The first floor commercial pretty much stayed the same. I think we're approved for over 11,000 square feet. And as we tighten up the building, you might actually make it smaller, but we're definitely going to come back to show you a new site planning drawings, go before the board and show you the plans, and we develop them at that point.
Anthony, this is Brad again. When do you think you'll have that concept available for us to take a look at?
We're working on it every day, to tell you the truth. It's because we're trying to meet the economics of the client. That's why we're kind of like making the plan more efficient. I think we're about another week or two before we could sit down and present to him like a final. I mean, we showed him preliminarily the plans. He likes them very much, but he's actually tasked us with the challenge of making it a little bit more efficient for constructability, and that's what we're working on now. So before coming back to you and showing you something, we want to have all these details kind of ironed out, so that when we do show you the final version of it, we know we're actually going to build it and budget and not have a lag in the schedule, because he's really committed to building this building at this point.
So Wayne, since they have to come back with plans anyways, and based on Corona, it's harder. Do we just want to extend this for a year? He's going to be back probably in a few months anyways. We're off in August. So should we just give this a year term and they'll be back in the next few months?
That
Excuse
sounds reasonable.
I believe that you missed the public hearing part.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure about the year. I mean, if they end up going in a different direction, because we spent so much time on the layout of this
Well, he's got to
project.
come back. He's got to come back one way or the other.
Yeah, but if he gets all the plans done and he goes in a direction that we're not happy with, I mean, maybe if he can just give us something preliminary.
Yeah, but he's got to come back. He's got to come back to us one way or the other, Mary Jo. Whether you give him a year or 6 months, he's got to come back to us. So whenever they're ready, they'll come back.
I know, I understand what your point is. I'm just saying that if he comes back and the plan is not something that we agree with, I mean, I know we're gonna like cash it out again, but
That's the risk he takes in amending the plan. But I just, I don't want to see him come back on our docket when they're not prepared.
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is a caller who was trying to make a public comment, but the audio was not working earlier. It's a public hearing.
Wayne, that's Tanya. She is correct.
Okay, Tanya, go ahead. You can go ahead with your commentary, Tanya. This is Tanya Garment, right?
Yeah. Tanya
Okay.
Garment wanted to. Yeah. So I wanted to just point out for the public record, really, that this was a project that had a 2-year special use permit that expired in April. That though I believe it's understood that it's got a new owner, it changed ownership. The owner of the property is actually the managing director of E&M Management. So while maybe it's not E&M Management that owns it, it's Daniel Goldstein, managing director of E&M Management. So I think that you should definitely keep that in mind. And I hope that you are really firm with saying that they absolutely cannot make any changes to their plans unless they come back for a full and real review. This is an important part of Kingston. We've got the LWRP there. The Heritage Area Commission should also definitely review any changes. And I think that a lot of people understand this, that with this particular development company needs a lot of extra attention. Thanks very much.
Thank you,
Just
Tanya.
if I could reply to the concerns, it's the same ownership. They had financial issues before, and the building as designed was above their budget. And basically all we're doing is interior work to make the units more efficient and give them a better layout. And all it really means is plumbing that stacks and a different unit mix. But the exterior of the building, if we didn't reduce it by a few hundred square feet, it would pretty much look the same. So from an exterior point of view, we're not looking to change the character of the building. I know we're new architects and you all don't know us. We're trying to keep with the same vernacular as it was presented to you before. We're just trying to make it and look at this building and say, how can we construct it more efficiently?
Okay, if I can, this is Wayne Platt again, and Mary Jo, if I can speak to your concerns about that. They already have an approval on their original concept, right? And they had signed board policy 6 as a result. Sue, that's correct, Sue? They have signed board policy 6 for that?
I know it was a condition. I don't have all the original plans in front of me, but it was definitely a condition of that approval, and it will be carried forward.
So my point is, if they do want to make changes to the building, to the layout, even with the layout of the interior of the building, if they're going to change the number of units, if there's any change to that original approval, that would trigger them to have to come back, because they they would be violating board policy 6 if they chose not to. I mean, that makes sense to everybody?
Plus, they're not going to get a building permit.
Correct.
Right.
So they're still
So,
planning on
so,
removing.
so right now, there's really nothing for us to hash out. We have no amended plans. They're not moving forward with the current plans. So the only thing we can do is just defer this out until they come back to us.
So they're still planning on removing those apartments from the other complex too? That's not changing either? Right,
No.
weren't they supposed to remove?
What was originally approved is being carried forward. That is what they're here for, the renewal of and the extension of the permit.
No changes, just more time.
Correct.
Okay,
So I think that takes care of your concerns, Mary Jo. I hear you, and any changes that take place without our approval is certainly something that would cause concern to me. But I think that having signed board policy 6, they would not be issued a building permit based on new plans without having come before us for approval. So does that make sense?
yes. It's just,
All right.
yeah, we had a lot of back and forth with this application, and
Oh.
I just want to make sure that it is going to stay the same unless it gets approval.
And that will happen. If there's any changes, they will have to come back. Absolutely. And also, Sue, the recreation fee still has not been submitted, right?
Correct. No, it has not been paid. They wouldn't get a building permit. But we should speak to the recreation fee, because the recreation fee was set at $90,000, and that's based on $3,000 per unit with 30 units. So if they are going to stay with 32 units, then that fee would change.
Okay, so there's another trigger there that if there's a change, the recreation fee still hasn't been submitted, so no building permit would be issued at that point either. So, all right.
How long do you want to
Does
get this?
anybody have any other? You said a year, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm fine with a year. I mean, they're coming back one way or the other. So whether it's 3 months or 6 months, it doesn't matter to me.
Is everybody good with a year on this? I'm thumbs up on a year. Yes? Okay.
Okay.
All right. And any other questions for the applicant? Okay. So under seeker, it's a type 2 action. No further review of the board is required. So at this time, I will make a motion that we approve item number 5 for a period of 1 year with all original conditions carried forward. And any changes to the project between now and when this latest approval expires, they would have to come before the board to discuss them and to have them approved. That's a motion. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Is that Robert?
Yes.
Okay. Second by Robert Jacobson. All in favor, Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco?
Yes.
Charles? Okay. Robert Jacobson?
Yes.
Mary Jo Wilson,
Yes.
and Matt Gillis.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Anthony and Greg, thank you for attending tonight.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
You too.
Take care.
Moving on to number, stand by. Item number 6, this is under referrals. This is open space plan, referral from the Common Council requesting comment on the open space plan to be adopted as part of the City of Kingston Comprehensive Plan. Yeah, so the Conservation Advisory Council has completed an open space plan for the city and submitted to the Common Council for review and consideration of adoption. So the Common Council declared themselves lead agency, and under the coordinator review, all of the interested agencies were informed, and the planning board is supposed to weigh in on this. So is there an overview on this that you want to go over first, or is it?
You have your staff notes in front of you. And I laid out the 4 issues which you would want to address and discuss this evening as part of your review. At this point, at staff level, we have reviewed the full environmental assessment form, find it to be complete and not needing any additional information. We find it satisfactory for your consideration and for the council's consideration on their environmental determination. The open space plan, I'm sure we sent a link out to all of the board members for them to refer to as they reviewed the environmental documents. And that document itself also is very comprehensive. It brings into this plan itself the elements from the comprehensive plan, which was done by the city earlier, brings into the plan all of or multiple additional reports and plans that have been brought forward and adopted, such as the LWRP, natural resource inventories, things of that nature. We also, it speaks to streetscapes and aesthetics for planning purposes. I think the majority of the plan does cover a lot of what this board takes into account when they are reviewing projects in various areas.
Okay.
Do any of the members have questions?
I mean, the CAC review is pretty comprehensive, right? They, like you said, they've taken into account a lot of the things that the planning board considers when they're reviewing projects, right? I mean, that they've done a lot of work.
The CAC drafted the plan with consultants. They drafted the plan and they put it forward as a final open space plan. They had multiple opportunities of public interaction as part of their review process. And then they brought it forward to the Common Council, at which time the council circulated the petition to act as lead agency. And we've already weighed in on that. So the council has designated them or declared themselves lead agency in this action. And now they're looking for our input based on the completed environmental assessment form, which is the FEAF. That's part 1, 2, and 3 of the form. And they're looking for our recommendation if there's any other additionally needed documents or any other considerations that should be brought into the mix. At this time, I don't see any. I don't know if any of the members have any concerns.
I don't have it. This is Wayne Platt. I don't have any concerns with this. Like I said, it's a pretty comprehensive document that's been presented for us to consider. So I'm in favor of issuing that we move to that the Common Council adopt this. That's my feeling on it.
Wayne, if I might, this is Sue again. If you look at your staff notes, what I've laid out is a series of 4 issues, and you could address each one individually. Or you can, you don't have to do each one separately, just acknowledge.
I'm acknowledging this not as an individual member, but that the board has received this, right? That's what I'm doing.
You would do it as the board, correct?
All right, so we've acknowledged receipt of the documents as cited above, which I've already outlined, right? Item number 1. Number 2 is determine whether that this board believes that the full environmental assessment form is in sufficient order and that there is no additional supplementary information needed or other modifications which should be made to the open space plan as submitted, and to recommend that both are complete. Do we need to
A motion,
vote on this
yes.
individually as? Okay, so this time I'll make a motion that we agree with item number 2, that the full environmental assessment form is in sufficient order. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Anybody? Robert? Yes, okay.
Yes.
All right, so all in favor, Wayne Platt is a yes. Chuck Palaco,
Yes.
Robert Jacobson,
Yes.
Joe Wiltshire,
Yes.
and Matt Gillis.
Yes.
Okay, that is carried. Moving on to item number 3 is a recommendation to the Common Council whether a negative or positive declaration of environmental certificate should be rendered. I recommend that we go with a neg deck on this. Okay. Any comments on that? Questions? I'm going to make a motion that we go with a negative declaration.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Wayne, this is
Second
Sue.
by, is that Robert?
Robert. Wayne, this is Sue. What I would ask is that the board amend that motion and state the reasoning behind your recommendation, and that would reference back to item number 2, that you find that it's complete, in form, satisfactory, and there's nothing in there to render a positive declaration. So reference it back to number 2.
This is Wayne Platt again. With recommending a negative declaration of environmental significance, I am referencing back to item number 2, where we believe that the full environmental assessment form is in sufficient order and no additional information is needed. So do I have a second on that one?
Second. Robert.
Second by Robert. All in favor, Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Robert Jacob,
Yes.
Mary Jo Wiltshire,
Yes.
Matt Gillis.
Yes.
That is carried. And moving on to item number 4, recommend whether the open space plan in its current form should be adopted. I believe that the planning board should recommend that the open space plan in its current form should be adopted by the Common Council. That's a motion. And do I need to reference anything with that, Sue? I think we've already done all the referencing we needed, right?
Yes, you would reference that you find that it's complete, that it addresses multiple other plans and documents that the board frequently refers to and relies upon in making their decisions under planning.
Okay. As Sue has just stated, that is my opinion as to why I think the planning board should recommend that this open space plan be adopted. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
By Charles Palaco. All in favor? Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Robert Jacobson,
Yes.
Bill Wiltshire,
Yes.
Pat Gillis.
Yes.
That is adopted. So you'll take care of drafting the letter that off then? You're good?
Yes, well,
Okay. All right. I think that's it, right? That's our last item.
Wayne, question.
Any other business? Go ahead, Robert.
Just question, based on moving forward with the phases that we're looking at, our next meeting is July, but then we have August typically off. Are we going to maintain the remote meeting for July?
I believe so.
Are we
At this
still waiting?
point, yes.
Excuse me, let me jump in. Whether or not we can continue to meet by
Yeah.
remote is subject to the governor's executive order. The governor's executive order at this point, I believe, expires July the 7th. He may extend it, but absent an executive order, the meetings will go live again.
So how do we post for July?
I would assume, well, we should probably draft something that accounts for both possibilities.
So we're going to draft stating we're going to have a meeting in one format, but we may have a meeting in another format?
We're gonna post it, we're going to have the meeting in the legally required format, and that these are the two options, and which one we will avail ourselves with depends on the governor's executive order.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.
When's our next meeting is July?
20th, I believe.
I am assuming that the executive order will be continued. The governor has been extending them, though, pretty much at the last minute based upon the circumstances. So I would assume we will know about a week before.
Okay. And that should still give us ample time to announce when and where the meeting will be, I would imagine.
It'll be close.
Yeah. Okay. Any other business before this board? Make a motion to adjourn. Have a second.
Second.
Second by Robert Jacobson. All in favor, Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Robert Jacobson,
Yes.
Bill Wiltshire,
Yes.
Gillis.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. And I guess, and we'll be waiting for our documents